You ever feel like you've been trying your whole life to keep up, but you're always a few steps behind, even when you're sprinting? Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm 34, and I was diagnosed with ADHD last year. And if you're anything like me, or you've ever wondered if maybe your brain just works differently, I want to share my story with you. Because for a long time I thought I was just lazy, or careless, or broken. But I wasn't. I was undiagnosed. Looking back, childhood confusion. I was one of those kids that teachers said had so much potential. You know the type. I just wish he'd apply himself. He's smart but distracted. He finishes early, but it's sloppy. I remember sitting in class, trying to focus on math and suddenly realising I'd been staring out the window thinking about dinosaurs for 10 minutes, or writing a story in my notebook instead of copying notes from the board. Homework was a disaster, not because I didn't care, but because I'd forget it was due. Or start, but never finish. Or finish, but forget to turn it in. It didn't feel like I was choosing not to do things. It felt like my brain just short-circuited, like I was constantly trying, but there was a wall I couldn't see, just something in the way. And that wall followed me everywhere. Adulting gets harder, undiagnosed into adulthood. You grow up thinking, I'll figure it out someday. But someday turns into your 20s, then your 30s. Jobs were tough. I'd either overperform, obsessing over little details and burning out, or I'd underperform because I couldn't stay organised or meet deadlines. Emails piled up, I forgot meetings. I'd say yes to everything, then panic trying to juggle it all. Even things like paying bills or remembering appointments felt like trying to hold sand in my hands. Socially, that was a whole other challenge. People would talk, and I'd nod, while secretly wondering if they noticed I hadn't heard a word they said. It wasn't that I didn't care. I cared deeply, but my focus just drifted, sometimes mid-sentence. And then came the guilt, the shame, the self-talk. Why can't you just be normal? Everyone else seems to manage just fine. Spoiler, they weren't. A lot of them were just better at masking it. The thing that finally pushed me to get help: burnout. Complete and total burnout. I was managing a team at work, juggling responsibilities, trying to hold myself together, and then one day I couldn't read an email, couldn't respond. I was frozen for hours. It scared me. So I called a therapist, not to ask about ADHD, just to ask, what is wrong with me? After a few sessions, she gently asked, have you ever considered that you might have ADHD? I mean, that's something kids have, right? But the more we talked, the more it made sense. The disorganization, the memory lapses, the emotional intensity, the ability to hyper-focus sometimes, but totally shut down at others. She referred me to a specialist, and after several assessments, formal testing, long interviews, even speaking with people who knew me well, the diagnosis came. ADHD, inattentive type, in my 30s. What the diagnosis changed, and what it didn't, I thought I'd feel broken or ashamed. But honestly, I felt relief. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't unmotivated. I had a different brain, one that needed different tools. But it also made me angry. Angry no one noticed. Angry I'd spent so many years thinking I was the problem, instead of realising I had a neurological condition that was manageable with the right support. The diagnosis didn't fix everything, but it gave me a framework. It gave me language. I finally understood why I worked the way I did and how to work with it, instead of constantly fighting myself. How I manage life now. What's helping me? So, what's life like now? Still chaotic sometimes, but more grounded. Here's what's helped. 1. Medication. I was nervous about trying meds. there's a lot of stigma. But after talking with my doctor and trying a low dose of a stimulant, I noticed a difference within days. I could follow through on tasks. I wasn't overwhelmed by every single email. It was like going from AM radio static to a clearer signal. Note, meds aren't for everyone, but for me, they've been a game changer. 2, therapy. I kept seeing my therapist, and we worked on executive function strategies, things like time blocking, using visual timers, breaking big tasks into micro steps. She also helped with the emotional stuff, the shame, the guilt, the years of masking. 3, body doubling. This one surprised me. I started working on tasks with a friend on Zoom. We'd just co-work quietly, and boom, I was so much more productive. Just having someone there helped anchor my attention. 4, forgiveness. Big one. I had to forgive myself for the years I didn't know, for the lost time, for being hard on myself. Because once I saw ADHD for what it is, a neurodevelopmental disorder, not a character flaw, I started treating myself with more compassion. 5, community. I joined an online ADHD support group, mostly adults, diagnosed late like me. And wow, that feeling of, oh my God, you too? It's powerful. We swap tips, vent, laugh, cry, and it helps to know I'm not alone. If you've ever felt like your life is constantly just out of control, if you feel exhausted from masking, from trying to keep up, from always feeling behind, you're not lazy, you're not broken. Maybe, just maybe, you have a brain that works a little differently, and that's okay. Get curious, talk to someone, seek help. A diagnosis isn't a label, it's a lens. And through that lens, you can finally start seeing yourself clearly, not as a failure, but as someone who's been doing the best they could with what they had. Thanks for listening to my story. And if it resonated with you, you're not alone.